Hey guys, Zach here from Kubota Lynchburg. Today we're going to talk about the difference between a root grapple, a claw grapple, and a combo 4-in-1 bucket. So we're going to start with the root grapple. And each one of these grapples is kind of called by many names. This is what we at the dealership call them. It's pretty common, but everybody else might have a little bit different name for them. But I'm going to call this a root grapple for today's video. A root grapple is going to have one that's going to have a much longer floor at the base than a claw grapple. So you have this long bottom, and you're going to have either one big top cylinder section, or I like to order them with 2 cylinders for the arms for grabbing on it. There's some definite pros to a root grapple. I'm going to show you the claw grapple real quick so you can start getting in your mind what it looks like. This is the claw grapple we're going to show today, the Land Pride claw grapple. You can see the bottom does not come all the way out to here. It's a very short bottom. It has one long single top. Now, it still has 2 cylinders, but they're just controlling the top. But this is what I'll call that claw grapple for the smaller material. So, back to the root grapple real quick. Lots of back and forth today. The root grapple is definitely usually a heavier duty built grapple. It's designed for prying roots, grabbing larger material in my opinion, big logs, big pieces of logs. You can kind of scoop under a pile of multiple logs or branches. And with these heavy-duty reinforced sections on the front, if you come on in and take a look at this, you have these heavier-duty reinforced sections. You can kind of dig up underneath something, pry up on it, and really get in there without worrying about damaging the actual grapple itself. You have some pretty good visibility with this because it sticks further away from the machine. You can see the front edge of it a little bit. You can kind of see through the floor of it. But when I close these grapples, you'll see there's a giant space in between the top teeth and the bottom section. That doesn't allow for very good clamping of smaller material, smaller debris. It'll either fall out or just kind of work its way around because there's no good clamping to it. Now those larger pieces, those rocks, those stumps, those massive logs, this is very nice. And what I'm going to show real quick is, I'm going to show the clamping action on it. Now these cylinders will close at the same speed, but if one hits before the other one, let's see if it does where I position the log. If one hits, there you go, you see a little bit of it. If one hits an obstruction first, it'll stop and the other one will keep clamping. So if you have those uneven loads, small on one side, big on the other side, it'll clamp down well on both. But if we take a look here and we see on this side, if you walk around to this side, you can see this giant space in between that I was talking about. Right here, if you had smaller limbs, or if I'm even driving fast with this, there's no clamping force on this log. It could roll out, it could easily fall out. So that's the downside of the root grapple, is there's no big clamp force. The nice thing is it has the double acting top, and that it's built very heavy duty to it. You can kind of scoop underneath. For example, I just went into the woods and found these logs today. I couldn't get the tractor to where they're hiding in between a group of trees, so I picked them up and set them in here. The claw grapple, the 4-in-1 bucket, maybe, but I couldn't have easily set them in there like today. This is kind of like your own little bucket on the front of it. So if we go to the claw grapple now, you can see this space in between here is much smaller. I could easily grab some of these smaller logs, and I might do that here in a second. I could easily grab it, put pressure against it, and I don't have to worry about it bouncing out or jumping out. But if you look at the front teeth on it, and every brand is different, there are some better brands and worse brands and everything. These front teeth are just simple steel. There's no reinforcement, there's no teeth welded to it. Now, on some of the bigger ones from Land Pride, they have that, but it is much easier to bend or break these smaller pieces. Not very good for prying, but much better at grabbing small material, brush, trash, debris, limbs that you've cut down. Whereas that one can't clasp together. This one, the whole section will clasp on it. So the other nice thing about a claw grapple is your visibility. You have all this open space here. You have these open teeth. You can see very easily, again, what you're getting to. And then if we look at our last option, it's a 4-in-1 bucket, a combo bucket. This is a mix between a grapple and a bucket. It's also a dozer blade, and you can back drag with it. Now, this is a small one on one of our BXs. Not a big fan of combo buckets myself generally. They have their purposes, but to me, you get the best parts out of each both bucket and grapple, but you also get the worst parts. I can't grapple all along the front. I can't kind of scoop up in it. Your only clamping force is right on the 3 edges. You can't really grab anywhere else. You can't scoop up underneath. It's going to fall out. There's no teeth that are grabbing or anything like that too. It's all smooth edge where you're grabbing. So it might work well for like the longer wood piece on the ground there, but any kind of brush or debris or trash, either it's going to work its way out or it's not going to clamp well down on it, but it is good there for some basic grappling tasks. And of course, because it's a bucket, you can scoop material, you can grab material, you can use this as a dozer blade, you can push piles of dirt and debris, you can drop it down and back drag with this edge and smooth things out. So I'm going to show you real quick how it runs, moves, and works. I might go grab that log real quick too. So you can open it all the way up. You could back drag with it. You could dozer blade with it. Or of course you can grapple with it. So let me see if I can get around to that log. I didn't position myself the best here, but we're going to give it a shot. And I will say I'm not an experienced operator, so don't judge me. So I can clamp with that bucket and I can go. So for clamping, it is pretty useful. I can clamp there and go. But if it was a whole bunch of small pieces, small sections, there's almost no chance I'd be able to grab that. But the nice thing is I can drop that, and then I can go grab a scoop of dirt and move it wherever I want to, or move a stump or something like that with a bucket. So kind of handy all in one. It's usually just about the same price as a grapple and bucket combined. So not a huge money saver, but it is a neat system. Then if we go and hop on this L series with the claw grapple, you'll see I'll be able to just do the same thing realistically with it. Let me walk around. Of course, if you have a grapple that you're looking at, don't forget you will need a third function hydraulic valve on the tractor. So make sure that you have that in your mind for a price if you don't already have one installed on there. I don't recommend a diverter valve. It's a pain in the butt. A third function, a true third function, is absolutely the way to go. So claw grapple open. Raise my bush hog. Do a 3-4 point turn. I didn't plan this one the best. She's close. And now with this claw grapple, I can easily see where my teeth are and everything. I can see that front edge. So I can push down, I can push into it, scoop it with my bottom edge, clamp down, and grab that tree. So I like the claw grapples best for the smaller material. The root grapples are great for the bigger material and for the heavier duty digging. But of course, depending on your projects, get what you think you're going to need. But those are the main differences between those 3 options. Give me a comment, give me feedback if you have any other questions or have more information for me that I didn't mention on. Thanks.